Welcome to our ASPJ Genealogy Open Day. The Australian Society of Polish Jews has as its statement of purpose to preserve and promote the historical and cultural heritage of Jewish life in Poland and to foster understanding between current and future generations of the Polish and Jewish communities. To further those aims, we host many varied events covering a whole range of diverse issues. But one constant issue that comes up time and time again is people's personal interest in their Polish ancestry and genealogy. Without delving deeply into this topic right now, genealogy is at its core identity. It doesn't necessarily bind you or even indelibly form who you are, but researching and uncovering your family roots can greatly connect you with a sense of self when you learn about your past, where you come from, who your ancestors were, what they did, what they endured, and if you're lucky enough to find out, what they achieved. This all adds a great depth to your sense of yourself. You now have a link, a chain, a continuity to the past. But to me, it's more than just that. It's more than just about yourself. It is also, in some ways, resurrecting the identity of your ancestors. Even at a most superficial level, just discovering your great-grandparents or further beyond their name, and even perhaps the years they lived, in some ways brings them back to life. They are now real people with a real identity. They no longer remain buried in the ground, unknown to anyone. You know their names and you know their years. I'd like to thank the Wolf and Dora Reicher Memorial Fund, which made our previous 2019 ASPJ Genealogy Open Day possible, for once again allowing today, and also last week in Sydney we ran a similar event. Their support is much appreciated and crucial to allowing events like today to occur. So thank you, Andrew, of the fund. We also welcome today other organisations that have accepted our invitation to join. The National Archives of Australia, who we'll hear shortly from, the Polish Museum and Archives in Australia as well. Please avail yourself of all the expertise available today. Our featured guest speaker, MICHAŁ MAJEWSKI, is a Warsaw-based historian and genealogist. He graduated from the Institute of History, the University of Warsaw, specialising in the history and culture of Jews in Poland. Since 2004, he's worked with non-governmental organisations on intercultural dialogue. These organisations include the Forum for Dialogue and Foundation for the Preservation of Jewish Heritage in Poland. From 2009 to 2013, he was a curator of the gallery on Jewish Street of the core exhibition of the Polish Museum of History of Polish Jews. From 2013 to 18, head of the Historical Information section of the Digital Collections and Resource Centre of POLIN Museum. From 2017 to 2021, a member of the board of the International Jewish Genealogy Society, Gesher Galicia. And since February 2018, he has been the operational director of the Association of the Jewish Historical Institute of Poland. MICHAŁ is also the author of publications on the culture and history of Jews in Poland, and in his own time, he helps people from around the world in genealogical research and in discovering their roots in Poland. We now look forward to a most compelling and informative presentation.
Thank you, Ezra. Hello, my name is MICHAŁ MAJEWSKI. Sorry, my English is not my native language, so if you won't understand something, just let me know. I will try to explain other way. I'm always saying that if someone is speaking in other language, he's half intelligent. So I will try to prove that it's not so bad with me. Today, as Ezra said, we've got genealogy meeting today, but truly I don't want to talk only about the genealogy, but rather about connection with Poland. The topic is I would like to talk with you and discuss what is the genealogy, if it is just collecting records, creating Excel, or maybe it's something more, and why we are doing. Like that is why we are studying family histories and what should be at the end of our path of the the genealogy. So today I won't present you databases only, but I know that many of you are interested in genealogy pages, so pages about the genealogy. So I decided just to list you the most important pages. Everyone who is starting this adventure should start from those pages. They are focused on Jewish history and they are free online. So please take a photo, try them at home, and have fun. But genealogy is also a business. You need to remember about that. People are paying a lot of money to track own roots. You can also get access to some paid genealogical web pages like those. This is, of course, MyHeritage, Israeli-based big company. Ancestry, Jenny is for free, but it's close, or Jenny belongs to Ancestry, so because of that they are here. And Family Search. Family Search is also partly for free. So also please take a photo, visit those pages, and have fun during your evenings. Okay, I knew it. It's the most popular screens. For sure, there are many genealogical societies, even Jewish genealogical societies here in Australia. So you can also join to them and cooperate. For sure, they will explain you how to start. But today, I would like also to talk something more about Poland. And very often when I'm here in Australia, this is my second time, I'm always hearing nothing left there, don't go there, you shouldn't come back, nothing left, only ruins. And in fact, we are not like, Great Britain, where all of the sources to your family story survived. Poland was destroyed. And because of that, yesterday I decided that I will show you this photo. This is photo of ruins of Warsaw Ghetto. I'm showing you Warsaw Ghetto because we are in front of in 2 weeks there will be 80th anniversary of Warsaw Ghetto uprising. But today morning I thought that maybe I will present you something more to understand how history is difficult in Poland, how it is difficult to find those connections, and how difficult it is to research about your family. So I will show you 2 minutes movie. Maybe some of you know this movie. This is City of Ruins. You know it. Yes, exactly. Yeah, in the Museum of Warsaw Uprising, there is a 3D version of this video, but I will even make it fast. Yeah, it's faster. Just 2 minutes to understand how, not only the history of Polish Jews were difficult and destroyed, but the whole country was truly destroyed. This is the view. I will explain you what you are seeing. This is the photo view. This is in fact animation made a few years ago about Warsaw, how Warsaw looked in 1945, how it was destroyed, 95% of the building. No, it's not real. This is just recreation, but made in very, very detailed way. All of the bridges are destroyed. There is only one new bridge. On your left, you will see the old town in a few seconds. Unfortunately, the quality is not so good, but here is on the left, you've got Royal Castle. Here you can see nothing left. It was bombed in 1939. Right now we are crossing the old town city in Warsaw, and now we can see the Warsaw Ghetto. After Warsaw Ghetto uprising, was totally demolished. Right now, in this place, there is a Warsaw Jewish Museum, POLIN. Here we have Gęsiówka camp, labor camp. This big building, black one, on there was a storage. It was a church which was changed to storage. So, as I hope this movie will bring you more sense what does it mean destroyed country or destroyed city. Your parents emigrated after the war, escaped from the war, and they remember the. I will make it bigger. No, I cannot. Right. They remember that Poland was like that. It was a dangerous place with many anti-Semitic right-wing groups, underground movement fighting against communists, but also fighting against Jews, Slovaks, and many other nations. So yeah, this history has some scratch. But here I will make short stop and I will tell you where I'm working right now. And after the war in 1945, a group of historians created Jewish Historical Commission to investigate Nazi crimes, but also to collect all of those pieces found in the ruins, documents from Warsaw, from the Warsaw ruins, for example. They find out where was hidden Ringelblum archives, secret archive of Warsaw Ghetto. And in 1951, this group of historians had to create, legal body for themselves, and they create Association of the Jewish Historical Institute. Right now, Association of the Jewish Historical Institute is the owner of, I think, the biggest Jewish archive, for sure in Europe, and one of the biggest in the world, dealing with Holocaust, but also pre-war Jewish life. But our association is not only the archive. In 1994, after communistic rules collapse, I can say, yeah. Our association was extremely poor, so the board came with the idea that Polish government should rule this Jewish Historical Institute. And our association still is owner of the archives, but there is a separate organization, public organization, ruled by government called Jewish Historical Institute. So a lot of people mixed our two bodies. Our association has also another, I would say, pillar. This is POLIN Museum. In 1993, Grażyna Pawlak, she was CEO of our association, was in Washington, and during the opening of the museum of the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, she came with the idea, we need to create new museum which would, to commemorate Holocaust, to commemorate Jewish culture, presenting not the way of dying the nation, but the way how this nation was living before. So POLIN Museum right now is presenting 1,000 years of Jewish existence in Poland, from the Middle Ages till nowadays. The last chapter, the last movie of the exhibition, it was created in 2022. And I think it can be very interesting to you because it is presenting how, what does it mean to be a Jew in Poland, even during the pandemic, but in 2022, with what of the issues there people are, forcing. So this is our the second pillar, and the third pillar is grant program. Our association is helping people around Poland to protect Jewish heritage. Sometimes they are creating databases, sometimes they are creating monuments. So in the second part of my presentation, I will give you very interesting, in my opinion, I hope also you will enjoy, projects created by those local leaders. But as I said, our association is owner of one of the biggest Jewish archive, and in Poland, like in the other countries, genealogical resources you can find in the archives, libraries. Also in Jewish Historical Institute there is a library, museums, and as I said, in local NGOs. I would start my presentation from those two databases. Probably you heard about Institute of National Remembrance of Poland, or in Poland. This is very political organization with special status. As always, with special status in Poland. The main aim of this organization is to investigate crimes against Polish citizens. I need to highlight this, citizens. It means that they're collecting information not only about Poles, for example, killed during the war, but also about Jews. Probably you heard about the Jedwabne pogrom in 1942, when the Polish neighbors killed Jews in the city Jedwabne. It was, one pogrom of the wave of the pogroms in Podlasie region. And Institute of National Remembrance were investigate, and our whole knowledge around the world about this situation based on the research made by this institute. So, in one hand, this is a very political organization, but still they have very good historians who are working there and investigates crimes. I think, about 15 years ago, this institute came with the ideas of two databases. One is LUZES, straty in Polish. The database straty collecting information from many archives in the world about people persecuted by the Germans from Poland. They have more than 5 million of records based on the own archives of the institute, but also based on the local state archives and, for example, ITS service, the International Tracing Service, which is located in Bad Arolsen. So I always, when I get information about the particular person or particular family, I started from this database. This is the easiest way to start. The second database is Indeks Represjonowanych. I don't know how to translate it. Persecute index. But the aim of the records in this database is very interesting, especially this year, contemporary, because it contains information about Polish citizens which were forced to move to Siberia by Soviets or were persecuted by Soviets. So you have to remember that most of Jews survived the war in Soviet Union. So there is a chance to find information about your ancestors over there in this database. What is also important, a lot of records came from Soviet archives. In the 90s, when Soviet Union collapsed, the Memorial Foundation started to index documents, to copy documents, and this database is mostly, it was the starting point. Soviet documents were the starting point for this database, so I highly recommend you to work with those two databases. And I need to also present you this web page. If you would take photo of this QR code, you will go directly. This is kind of the mecca of the archivists who are interested in Polish documentation. Szukaj w archiwach, search in the archives. This is the main archival web page. Like in Australia, there is National Australian Archives. The table is over there. Hi. So this is the same. This is the State Archives of Poland, and I don't know how close you are to the researching, but you have to understand that this database won't give you information about your ancestors, your parents, grandparents, but will give you information about the collections. What is the collection in the world of archives? Collection, this is the documents created by the one company, one institution, one organization. So you can find out if, for example, municipality archives from, I don't know, Przytyk survived. If survived, it should be information about this here in this database. So when you are starting research, you must to rethink what kind of the organization would be interested in your ancestors. If they were Polish citizens, for example, for sure they had, I don't know, ID card. For sure they were on the list of the voters. For sure they were in many organizations or offices. They were registered. So usually I'm starting from the city documentation, municipality documentation, and starting to tape to the database name of the town. If you would get information from there, you need to use Google Translate. This is the best translator, as we know. Professor Dr. Google Translate. Because all of the information here is in Polish. And if you would find out that documents from, I don't know, Szydłowiec is in the Radom archive, you need to write an email directly to this archive with the information about, I'm looking for this and this in this and this collection. Can you research for me? They will charge you for sure. Not very much, about 20 Australian dollar per hour. In few hours, they will give you answers. The problem is that they need usually a few weeks or sometimes few months to answer. They have so many, queries, requests that you need to wait. Sorry. And this is the last database not made or not supported by our association, which I want to present you. This is Polish Declaration of Admiration and Friendship to United States. This is extraordinary source. I like to use it to present, for example, connection to the documents because in 1925, someone in Poland came with the idea that we need to, strengthen connection with America, with United States. We should give them something. We can, I don't know, create another Statue of Liberty or something like that. So they came with the idea, let's collect signatures of all of the children in Poland who attend to the schools. And in this declaration, we've got more than 5 million signatures of young students from the whole Poland. And the question is, what was the real aim of this declaration? You know? I started to think before my visit in Australia, and this page answered me to this question. What do we see here? Who knows? American flag and flag of? No, of Indonesia. It's upside down. It's flag of Indonesia. It's flag of Monaco. It's not Polish flag. It's upside down. Probably some children draw it and he or she didn't know exactly how the flags should be, which color should be above, on top, and you have to understand that in 1925, we were just few years after the Great War, after the regaining the independence of Poland, after Poland lost independence for 123 years at the end of the 18th century. So the government, that Poland has to integrate, the young people, with themselves. Poles, Jews, 8%, Ukrainians, 12%, Germans. They were looking for the symbol, and I think it was a great idea, Every child in Poland had to sign that they were Polish, and they are giving this declaration of friendship to United States. And if you have time, we don't have, but even that I will show you how it's worked. It's over here. Unfortunately, database is in Polish. There was idea to start to translate it, but because of the lack of the money, they stopped. But even that, I will type. Can I use your family name, Reicher? Yeah. Okay. So we've got 23 Reichers indexed. Not everything is indexed here. So I will. We've got Częstochowa, so let's use Częstochowa. This is accident. Yeah, I know, but there was another branch of probably maybe your family. We've got beautiful made page. We can zoom it and start to look for the signature. It will be original signature of your father, mother, I don't know, grandparents. It's very, if you would find it, it's very touchy moment, I find out, information about all of my grandparents there. So it's really incredible. Okay. We are back. We are back in Indonesia. As I said to you, I'm working for the association. I explained it to you what we are doing. I will repeat that we are supporting. We are not creating projects. We are just supporting. We are donate money for them. One of the most, I think, powerful project is Virtual Shtetl. Probably if some of you are tracing your roots, you find this page. This page give you information about the history of the town. This is the most powerful part of this page. We've got information about almost 2,000 of towns in Poland. But it is not only about the towns. At the beginning, there was idea to create some kind of Wikipedia about the towns. But right now, it has developed because it was created, I don't know, 10 years ago or more. Yeah, so it was 15 years ago. So sometimes, the page can be quite slow, but still, it's the best source to find out the history of the town, history of the Jewish community, and also find information what has left there. If there is a synagogue, if there is a cemetery, if there is a mikvah, or other. No, you won't find information if you know that in this town we've got, I don't know, one person. If there is a Jewish community, but you will also find this information. A few years ago, there was idea to also to create genealogical database over there. Right now, there is 25,000 of records. I think you need to be logged into the web page to use it, but I highly recommend you also. The another, it's unfortunately it's not online. It's not online. As I told you at the beginning, our association, the creators of our association at the beginning, they started to collect documents. And one of the projects of Central Jewish Community in Poland just after the war was to register all of the Jews who survived the war. Why they started to register them? To support them for self-help, but also to reunite families. Even today, a lot of people asking about those registration cards. We've got about 300,000 of them, like this. And sometimes we are lucky that we find out that few people were asking about those families, and we can reconnect them. To get information about registration card, you need to write to my friend Agnieszka Reszka. Here you've got her email address. I think you will get mad because of the requests, but I strongly recommend you to write directly to them. But our archives is not only about the registration. I told you that we've got more materials. We've got 266 collections, different kind. You can find their testimonies. You can find their official, ID application for ID from pre-war times. Many different documentation. About 80,000 of pages are available online. At the webpage Central Jewish Library. I strongly recommend to check the collection which called, I've got it here, of testimonies. There is more than 1,000 testimonies digitalized. You can read the stories, how people survived, how they were living, when they left, anything what was done by or written by them after the war. 1,000, is it a lot? I don't know. It's hard to say, but it's as you remember, Poland was destroyed, so you need to looking for pieces, So please, if you are children of survivors, this is maybe your parents gave the testimony to the Central Jewish Community. Yeah, this is in Poland, in Warsaw. Yes. It was, in just after the war, communistic rules were very. They wanted to close country as soon as possible. So everything was done in Poland just after the war. This is also very meaning that it's not from the perspective of 50 years like in Shaw Foundation. It was written down just after the war. But we've got there also, for example, documents from Warsaw Ghetto, the list of children from a Jewish hospital who died there. We've got truly, we don't know what we've got there. This is still on the process of. The institution is not so big, So not all of the documents were investigated. So still you can discover there very interesting materials. But as I said, our virtual Stätte is a POLIN Museum. Archives right now kept by Jewish Historical Institute. The second our pillar of activity, and third one is, I think, for me, the most important right now. This is the pillar of the local activists. I don't know if you heard about Paweł Śpiewak, the Professor Śpiewak, who died just 3 days ago in Warsaw. About 5 years ago, he and Ewa Teleżyńska and Jacek Sawicki from Warsaw came with the idea to create database of the biggest Polish cemetery in the world. The biggest Polish cemetery of Polish citizens is in Treblinka, not in Auschwitz, In Auschwitz, most of Jews killed in Auschwitz were from Hungary, from West Europe. The biggest cemetery is the ashes of Polish Jews killed during the war are mostly there, about 1 million of victims. And the aim of this project is to recreate stories of the victims. They started 5 years ago. Right now, they have more than 100,000 of stories. It's not indexed. It's not just the database. We've got photos there. We've got information about the sources. So if you are tracing your members of your family, you can try there. But you also, if you know that your members of your family were murdered over there, please contact them, give them information to put it online to commemorate those names. This is one. Ewa Teleżyńska, who is right now the leader of this project, has a sister, a twin sister, and her name is, maybe you heard about her, Basia Engelking, Professor Barbara Engelking. She also came with the similar project, even earlier than Paweł Śpiewak and Ewa Teleżyńska, her sister, to create a database of people who were kept in Warsaw Ghetto. This is research, this is scientific database, so it's not only based on the memoirs, but on the sources. Every time you've got information about sources there, they have only information about 40,000 of people who were in the Warsaw Ghetto. As you remember, this is just 10% of all of victims of the ghetto. Another project run. The story of this project started almost 20 years ago. Wow, we are getting older, I would say, because I'm saying that 3 of my friends, Witek Wrzosiński, Alicja Mroczkowska, and Remek Sosnowski, were students of the Yiddish literature. Yes, they could speak Yiddish very well. They were students of Hebrew language also at university. Witek even wrote his final, graduation thesis in Hebrew. They were asked in 2006 by American businessmen to make an index of Jewish cemetery in Warsaw. The name of the businessman was Emil Karafiol. His story is very typical. He came in 2005 to Warsaw. He wanted to find out where is the grave of his grandparents, and he discovered that there are no, cemetery books over there. So he find those 3 young people, 20 years old, and asked them to start to index. In next 4 years, every day, if it was rainy, snowy, very hot, very sunny weather, they were Matzevod by Matzevod, they started to index them. They indexed more than 80,000 of graves in Warsaw. It was in 2010. Right now, Witek is director of the cemetery, and Remek is director of the second cemetery, Jewish cemetery in Warsaw. But they didn't stop. They decided to run this project, this business, and they started to index other cemeteries. Right now it's over 100. I will show you how it's work. I promise Andrew to do that. The webpage is in English. It's very easy. You can you choose the cemetery using the button database, or to make general search using button search. Let's use the surname as usual, Reicher. And the story is that it was exactly 5 years ago. Andrew came to me and said, we weren't close friends, we knew each other, and he said, "Oh, Michał, you are dealing with the genealogy. My story is this, and this. I don't know where is the grave of my grandma." And I said, "Give me, few seconds. Maybe not few seconds, an hour it was. It was an hour, and do not disturb me. Give me this hour. I will come back to you." And I knew where to look for. So I put Reicher, and I find out Warsaw. Now, the family is from Sosnowiec, so we don't have Sosnowiec here. So I started to check database by database, cemetery by cemetery. Warsaw, empty. The second one was Otwock. Why Otwock? Otwock is suburban town near Warsaw, but I opened. Oh, we've got Hanna Feiger Reicher. We've got his grandma, babcia. I opened this. I printed everything. I printed that the Matzevod is broken. In fact, it is on the grass, laying on the grass. And we started to talk.
Why it was not she had?
But the case I want to tell. We started to talk about to go there to visit the place, and I remember our first visit there. And Andrew said that it cannot be like that. We need to fix it. My lovely grandma cannot has broken Matzevod, and Reicher Andrew's done something extraordinary. He fixed it. It's just small things, but he fixed this grave. In Poland, we've got 1,200 of cemeteries. The Jewish communities, in Jewish communities, we've got maybe 3,000 of people. So 3 people for one cemetery. It's very hard to protect them. Not even to renovate, just to protect. In whole Poland, maybe there is 20,000 of Jews. They are not able to fix them, to reconstruct all of the Matzevod. So, and because of that, I decided to present this database in detail. Maybe you will find your family members there, and maybe it's gonna to be also starting point to take care of this heritage, because it's very hard to us or to organization like our association or many others to take care of them. There's only, as I said, in the official census, 7,000 of Jews. It's not enough. So, Yeah, it's not the end of the story. That's right. Okay, I will add this just for you. Yeah, it was renovation was the first step. Maybe not the first. Andrew is a very special person, so it was, I don't know which one. But additional information, you've got the information that she's from Sosnowiec, she was 57, and that her ancestors were Israel Yehuda from Kromołów and Hirsch from Szydłów. The information is Israel Yehuda from Kromołów. If you are putting information like that, it means that they were VIPs. We started to Google them, to look in the books, and we find out that they were Israel Yehuda Ganzweig from Kromołów, the Tzaddik. So we visited Kromołów. And we found Ochel. And it was ruined. It was like Warsaw in 1945. Nobody was taking. Yeah, and nobody was taking care of this place. So Andrew said, "Oh, it's my pradziadek. It's my lovely pradziadek, and it has to be fixed." And this year, in May, exactly in 1 month, it's going to be, how to say, a reconsecration of the Ochel. So another example, you can change, the cemetery. You can change you can protect the graves, because don't forget, in Judaism, the cemetery will be always cemetery. It's not the place where the cemetery was. It is cemetery. Bones of your ancestors are still there. So let's go back to the presentation. So, in fact, 2 young people, still young, or in the middle. Each year they're adding new cemeteries to this database. But this is one of my 2 favorite projects. The second is this Foundation Forgotten. Foundation Forgotten has very similar aim, but not to protect Jewish cemeteries, but to protect Jewish graves. As you know, after when the ghettos were liquidated, inhabitants were murdered, still many Jews were hiding in Poland. This is one of the most difficult moments in the history from Polish Jewish perspective, because Jan Grabowski counting that about 200,000 of them were killed. Another historian is saying that it was 100,000. Some of them saying that it was less, more. We don't know. But in whole Poland, in the forest, in the fields, there are graves, still graves, a little bit forgotten, because Polish inhabitants of those towns don't want to talk about this. They knew that there is a forest, but nobody should go there because there is some mysteries. Children are not visiting those places, and there is a group of Polish Catholics and Polish Pole, I would say, and Jewish Pole, who are cooperating together to investigate those places, to rediscover those places, and to mark them. They are marking them with wooden macevot, like this. And if you can see on this photo, this wooden macevot is near the way to the Catholic cemetery. Every person who is living in Poręba right now, Poręba Średnia, this is a very tiny village, even not village, who are crossing who is going to visit own graves, own family graves, has to pass near this grave, this marked grave. And it's not only to present to Poles that, okay, here is a body, you need to think about that. No, usually this is the starting point for discussion and for commemoration. Look, they located almost 200 of graves like that in Poland. They marked 49 using wooden matzevot. And after 4 years, 20 of them has monuments. So this is the aim of the project is not just to mark, look what have you done. No, it's starting point for this discussion and commemoration. So yeah, this is I think the favorite project supported by our association, and each year, this number is growing and growing. And this year they started to work with children from those towns, and they are making together those wooden matzevot. They are not so beautiful because of that. The Star of David is made by children. It's not looking so nice like here, but it's important that young generation of Polish children are starting also to take care of those bones. Also, yeah. Firstly, they cooperate with Rabbinical Commission from Warsaw. So firstly, they starting to talk with locals. Then, if they have area where the grave is, they starting starting to look with the reader, and sometimes they find it, sometimes they not. They use also they are making also big research. I will show you. No, where it's here. Yeah, it's open. This is the map of the location investigated, and for example, I will open awaiting for commemoration. It means that there is a wooden matzevot. For example, Legionowo, this is suburban of Warsaw. We've got Bukowiec near people are living there still. We've got exactly location near some park. And at the end, we've got all of the information about the crime, about location, wooden matzevot, and you can download all of the resources. It means you can download, if they know about the names, you will find. If they've discovered documentation in the state archives, everything is here, you can download, read. It's extraordinary project, really. So also, if you have any information, please contact directly to them, provide information. Maybe if they will have, I would say, enough time, I'm sorry to say that, they will also take care of your family members. So another project. Oh, we've got many projects. Maybe more positive. Association Krotochwila, run by two friends who are from Poznań, and they Piotr Bejerlein, who is the leader of the association, he's half Polish, half German, and he came with the idea to very similar idea to other organizations, to index cemetery, to index inhabitants. They are dealing mostly with two towns from the area of Wielkopolska, the Koźmin Wielkopolski and Krotoszyn. They are mostly interested in, Germans, Jews who were living in pre-war Poland. So this is another example. But near Poznań, also in Wielkopolska, I think it's gonna to be last project presented by me today, the Przemyśl municipality. As I said, we've got 1,200 Jewish cemeteries around the Poland, and there is a special institution in Poland to take care of the heritage, all of the Polish, Jewish, doesn't matter, about the heritage. And a few years ago, this institution sent letter to municipality of Przemyśl that they need to take care of the cemetery because there are many, I don't know, trashes, bushes. It need to be, taken care about this place. And I don't know the reason why Mr. Jakubowicz started to think about this place, how to take care of this place, probably because of the touristic reasons. Maybe, we are gonna to take care of the cemetery. Some Jewish tourists would visit our place. Maybe some money would appear. I don't know why. And I don't want to guess, but they started to cooperate with Rabbinical Commission from Warsaw to take care of the cemetery. They started they created the web page, and right now the whole city is taking care of cleaning the cemetery. It was just an impulse to change a little bit. So also, if you would go, or if you have family in Przemyśl, there are people to talk with who are taking care of the cemeteries. Since 10 years, we supported 200 of projects like that. Those are the people who are doing that. We've got Basia Engelking, we've got her sister Eva, we've got Ania there, Alex and Ola, Witek Wrzosiński. Those are the mostly young people who want to change situation or to make connection. And I decided to change my presentation from presentation only about the huge databases, because the biggest knowledge about particular towns have those people. You can write to them, you can ask them. Probably they indexed everything. They started to talk with the neighbors about some photos, and they are making an extraordinary things. The best way it would be if I would give them a voice. So I'm gonna to play a short movie at the end. It's not the end. Sorry, I wanted to short. First, I will tell you how to find them, and then I will present you a movie. There are 3 organizations who are working with those people. First, of course, is our association. I told that a few times, so last time I will repeat, since 10 years we supported, even more than 250 projects like that. We've got database of those people who want to protect Jewish heritage, your heritage. The second, and I think the best organization which cooperate with those people is Forum for the Dialogue. This is Andrzej Folwarczny. He was Polish MP in the 90s, and yes, something like that. He created firstly the program School of a Dialogue. 500 schools around the Poland have taken part in his programs, and right now he's changing a little bit his activity. Right now he is focusing mostly on those leaders of a dialogue, local activists. So this is a great place to visit his webpage, find your location. There is information who is the leader of a dialogue, and there are always contact data to the person. The Third place where you can ask is Museum POLIN. Since 2014, Museum POLIN and our association together, we are award people who are active, very local, who are taking care of Jewish heritage. More than 300 of nominated activists we've got. So you can also write to Radek Wójcik or direct it polin@polin.pl. You will find the answer. You will get the answer. Who is the local leader? Yeah. Yeah, I know that, and even more, I would tell you that he was awarded one. He is leader for the dialogue, and first grant he received from our association. So it doesn't matter to which organization you would write to. All of them are cooperate very closely, and we all together support. It's not, we are all together there, so we need to cooperate together. So at the end, and I wanted to give voice to one of the activists, my very close friend from little town Orla. He is, please do not record that. He is typical, Polish man from small town. As he said to me one time, he had some problems with the alcohol, for example. He was smuggling, goods from Belarus to Poland because Orla is located close to the border. He knew many jokes about Jews, and he had very stereotypic, vision of Jewish history, Jews and Polish-Jewish relations. And in the 90s, he was visiting his girlfriend in Minsk, and she said to him, "Hey, Marek, today my father is coming. Please do not anything about Jews." Why? You will see. And he met her father. They started to, of course, dealing with Polish-Jewish, issues, starting to create dialogue. And right now, Marek is taking care of Orla, and he's extraordinary man. You will see. I will start to play. How to do it? It's gonna to be in Polish, but with subtitles. So.
Marek Chmielewski, sołtys wsi Orla, radny Rady Gminy Orla, lider dialogu, który przywraca pamięć o orlańskich Żydach. We współpracy z Gminnym Ośrodkiem Kultury w Orli oraz lokalnymi organizacjami pozarządowymi podejmuje szereg działań mających na celu upamiętnienie żydowskich mieszkańców gminy.
Historii Orly nie da się opowiedzieć bez historii Żydów, bo też przede wszystkim 60-70% do 1942 roku była miejscowość żydowska. Myślę, że istotną rzeczą jest chronienie pamięci, a chronienie pamięci tym bardziej tej naszej lokalnej, o którą się jakby ocieramy, bo można przeżyć całe życie, ocierać się o, nie wiem, o kamienie z napisami, tak, o mury jakiejś budowli i przejść obojętnie, tak, ale to za każdą cegłą, za każdym tym kamieniem są jakieś historie, są jakieś łzy, są jakieś miłe rzeczy, tak? I to jest jakby po prostu z czysto ludzkich jakby odruchów, tak? Należałoby czcić, pamiętać i cieszyć się, że była taka kiedyś też wspólna przeszłość. Może zacząłem to robić nie do końca świadomie, tak? Bo z początku to było tak odkładane zawsze coś na później, zbierane, zapamiętywane historie. To były jakby tego, ale już praktycznie to kilkanaście lat temu właśnie zaczęliśmy wespół z kolegą właśnie wspomnianym Darkiem Horodeckim zbierać właśnie archiwalia, przede wszystkim fotografie, stare dokumenty I nam tak wówczas w taki gimnazjalny sposób udało się zbudować taką bazę, takie archiwum, w której znalazło się prawie 3,5 tysiąca fotografii, dokumentów, różnych takich rzeczy. I na tej bazie też w taki sposób spontaniczny udało nam się, gdzieś tam zdobyłem jakieś środki na to, wydać album. Niektóre osoby odzyskały swoją tożsamość, tak? Wówczas we mnie urodziło się coś takiego, ja z natury jestem taki przekorny, nie zawsze chodzę z wiatrem, a często pod wiatr. Zawsze to się od małych lat, zawsze miałem przyjaciół, oczywiście z wszystkimi się przyjaźniłem, bo tego, ale zawsze z jakimiś osobami troszeczkę gorzej ubranymi, gorzej odtrąconymi i tak dalej. Zawsze mi się dobrze gadało i zawsze stałem po ich stronie. I to taka przekora we mnie siedzi. Wówczas jakby takim sukcesem, bo byśmy zrobili tutaj w synagodze wystawy, fotografii. Odbieram taki w pewnym momencie telefon. Dzwoni ten telefon, schodzę na dół, odbieram. Dzień dobry panu, nazywam się Sara Awni, ale panu będzie mówić więcej, jak powiem, że jestem z domu Wajsztań. O matko i córko, ledwo uklękłem przy ścianie. A to jakbym otrzymał telefon zza świata. Nie wyobrażałem sobie, że jeszcze ktoś żyje z naszych mieszkańców. A to była ostatnia żyjąca Żydówka z Orlu. O upamiętnieniu jakiejś tablicy, pomniku, to się mówi od lat. I to jest mowa trawa. To są przeważnie trzeba, abyśmy, tak dalej, tak dalej. To jest jedna rzecz. Druga rzecz to wiem, że jak już się coś zbiera, to jeszcze każdy chce coś mieć do powiedzenia, a przy tym nic nie wyłożyć. No, i w związku to było robione takim moim, tak jak mówiłem, ja jestem przekornym człowiekiem, jak wy nie, to ja sam zrobię. To trzeba działać. Ja przede wszystkim chcę być skuteczny, a nie skupiać się na tym tego. I po prostu żal mego jakby czasu, bo czas ten leci szybko, a tyle jeszcze jest do zrobienia, tak? Jest synagoga do uratowania, tak? Ale najważniejszym dla mnie w tej chwili to jest uratowanie tego budynku. To jest najważniejszy mój cel życiowy. Temu poświęcam czas, temu tu przychodzę od rana do nocy, nieraz tu siedzę, oprowadzam turystów. Chciałbym tutaj przyjść za 20 lat, gdybyśmy się tak spotkali, już pewnie będę, jak jeszcze pożyję, tak, przy jakiś wiekowy dziadek przyjdzie, bo tu było, nie wiem, jakieś stado młodzieży coś robiło i pokazywali mnie jako ten eksponat, nie? Ale żeby to żyło miejsce, o to mi chodzi, nie?
Thank you, and if you have any question or Ezra, we'll give you mic.
Thank you very much, Michał, for that informative presentation. You gave us excellent leads for research, and everyone here is most grateful for you taking time out to come to us and show us what's happening there. We also have now a special quick presentation from Patrick Ferry from the National Archives of Australia, specifically regarding a topic, again, interest to most of us, and that is regarding the immigration sponsorships for Holocaust survivors post-war. So thank you, Patrick.
Proszę bardzo, I will take my stuff.
Not sure that, there we go. Dzień dobry, shalom. My name is Patrick Ferry. I'm the Assistant State Manager for the National Archives here in Melbourne. And it's a great honour to be here today. And I won't talk for very long, but I wanted to highlight a particular series of records held in our custody, which very few people know about because they weren't described very well, but they relate to nominations and sponsorships for Holocaust survivors and Jewish refugees straight after the war. just very briefly, so we're the archive of the federal government. So if you are looking for immigration records relating to migrants to Australia, particularly in the 20th century, we are the go-to place. And we have around 40 million items in our collection. And here in Melbourne, we've actually got several kilometres of migration records. Now, I'm going to make this presentation available to the association so it can be distributed, because there's more information in it that I don't have time. Yeah, I've got no issue with that. The particular series in question is called B4064, and it was very generically described in our catalogue as simply applications for admission of relatives and friends to Australia. And there were a number of bundles of records called schedules in this series. And there was nothing that could get anyone into the series. There was no name identification of the records, that sort of thing. One day I looked in this series in the repository and thought, holy ghost, this is, they're all Jewish refugees and Holocaust survivors. So what we did, we partnered with the Australian Centre for Jewish Civilization at Monash University to get all of the applications described at item level. Now, there's nearly 1,400 applications in this particular series, and they all date from 1945 to 1946. As I said, most were Holocaust survivors and Jewish refugees. Most from Europe, but there are some refugees who'd fled Europe to places in Central America and things like that, who are also included. Now, of those 1,400, more than half are from Poland. And so what we did as part of the description is we've got the places that people are coming from in the titles, so you can search by name and place. And most of the sponsors were members of Melbourne and Victoria's Jewish community. And in most instances, these are people who had come to Australia around 1938-39, in that very limited window of opportunity where Australia had a very small quota of admission for Jewish refugees from Europe. This is just some photographs of the work that was being done with the records in our archive at North Melbourne. Some of you will know Sue Hampel on the left, who was a great sponsor of this project. That's just a list of some of the other immigration material in the collection. I won't dwell on that. I'll share the presentation. But what I wanted to do is just dive into that particular series, and this will help you search our database and catalogue as well. So on our website, naa.gov.au, there's a thing called Record Search, which is our main database and catalogue. I'm just going to take you there for a moment. All right, so record search down here. And as I said, the 1,400 records in this particular series have now all been entered at name level, so we can search them relatively easily. I'm going to search you up one to start with that is digitised, just so you have a bit of an idea of the look and feel. Very few records in the collection this series are digitised yet, because it's just been indexed. We're hoping to get them digitised in the very near future. And if the first nomination was a Lipman Jedwab. So it's just a name search. Here we go. And we've got two entries in our catalogue for Lipman. First one I'll come to in a moment. The second one is from this series B4064, and it's digitised. So I'll just bring my cursor over and we'll bring it up. And so this is the original nomination for him to come to Australia. Now, he's nominated by his father, Ide Haim Jedwab, who was in North Carlton at the time. Everybody in this scheme had to be Jewish. It was a scheme that was proposed to the Australian government by the Executive Council of Australian Jewry, and Arthur Caldwell signed off on the scheme. We can see here for Lipman, it's got his basic details, born in 1924 from Zagoro. I'm sorry, I've probably pronounced Zagorov in Poland. Note his present address when his father filled this form in. It's Buchenwald. He was a student at the time of, and he was the son of Ide. And, there's then details about how long the sponsor has known him, and his intended job was to work in the family business. So the context here is Ide managed to get out to Australia in 1938-39 with two of his sons, two of the older sons, Abram and Michael, I think. The other children could not get out in time before the invasion of Poland by the Nazis, and obviously went through horrific, experiences. What's very interesting about these records, though, is if I then take us to the second page, we actually get a wonderful snapshot of the sponsors themselves. So in this case, if we scroll down, we get all the detail of Ide as the sponsor. He's 53 years old, he's from Poland. He's already been naturalised as a British subject. He's been here only for 6 years, though. And his business details, his assets, this sort of thing. So what we have in these records, I think, is a tremendous resource. I hope that Sue and her students perhaps produce a database or something based on these records. Because what you get is this wonderful consolidation of information about the nominee, the Holocaust survivor, the Jewish refugee, but also the person that was sponsoring them. And it's quite unique in terms of what we've got in our collection here in Melbourne. It was a tremendous discovery. I just wanted very briefly to just run another search, because I know a particular name was used for some of the searches earlier. And I'm just going to run that particular search in this series. So we can do what's called an advanced search, A4064. Sorry, it keeps getting very small for me. B4064, sorry. But if I spell this name correctly, please. Racha. Racha. Sorry. We have one entry in here, and it's a Wolf. There you go. Yeah. So it's not yet digitized, but it will give you details both of him, where he was at the time of the nomination, but also his sponsor. From these records, you can then progress to different types of records in our collection. So this is the only nomination sponsorship for these particular people in this scheme. The next thing you start to look for is the passenger arrival lists, and we have an index of that also available in Record Search for the ships coming through Fremantle. Once migrants arrived, you're looking at the alien registration because they were not British subjects. Then you're looking for the naturalisation records if they became naturalised Australians. Now, I just wanted to show, so passenger arrival index is just up the top there. Most ships from Europe stopped in Fremantle, so most people will appear in those lists. If you don't appear, your family doesn't appear in those lists, contact us. We can look at the Melbourne lists, for example, for you. Sorry? Yep. So we can do a similar sort of search. So there's an index of the actual ships. So we can go, is it on there? It's not. No, which is, maybe it didn't go. Sometimes we don't get a hit. Now, that's a very important point. If you don't find your family in our database, only about 40% of the collection is indexed. It's very similar in that sense to the National Archives of Poland. But you can submit a reference inquiry to us, and we will try to find some records for you as part of that. Yes? Yes, yes, you should be potentially in there, yes. So the database, it depends what's been indexed, but the database goes right back. So the ships list, for instance, for Fremantle go back to 1898. Yes, in this case up to 72. Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. All right. All right. I won't do this too long because I will be up the back. And I know people will have questions for Michael. Okay, so for the ship. Do you know what year it was? Okay, MISI. There we are. All right, so what you can do is you choose, you can get it into these different ways. You can put the name in, the surname of the family name, but you can also go by the ship. What was the year? 1947. Let's see what comes up. And here we are, we get a list of the passengers on that ship in various dates in 1947. What was the surname? All right, well, what I'll do is I'll go back and I put B-U-C-H. No. That's okay. What it may mean is that in Fremantle... Yeah. So what it may mean is in Fremantle, they may only have deposited the list of the people getting off in Fremantle. And so what you would do, you'd contact us. We will look at the Melbourne list then for you if Melbourne is where you arrived. Now, in terms of just contacting us, and I'll finish on this note. So if you don't find what you want in record search, just go to help with your research and then you choose ask us about the collection down here. And you can submit a reference inquiry to us and we will do about an hour's research for you. But then we will steer you as to where you can then find more information after that. Yes.
When and if, like in England,
Yes.
our electoral rolls will go online and we can search.
So the Commonwealth's electoral rolls are actually online through Ancestry at the moment, up until about 1982, I think. We do have sets of them, but they've been digitised by Ancestry through the Parliamentary Library. You can get them through us, but not digitally. Yeah, we have the physical bound volumes. Yes, sir. Yes. Oh, good. Oh, 1948. Okay, good. Yes. Yes. There were a number of issues, yes. Yes. There's a subsequent series that is not just Jewish to B4064, it's B4065, and it's Catholics, Jews, people from all over Europe in the subsequent series. Yes. Anyway, Michael should probably come up because people will have many questions for Michael, I'm sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick. That was excellent. And as you can see from the response, no doubt you'll be inundated. So thank you once again to MICHAŁ. We'll hear from Andrew just for the quick close for this thanks. But what we will have is the tables down the back. So you're more than welcome to ask your questions. MICHAŁ will be there. Patrick will be there. The Polish Museum and Association will be there as well. So please avail yourself of the opportunity. As you'll find out, not only are they very helpful, they're also very knowledgeable. That's always a wonderful combination. So we'll hear from Andrew, and thank you very much.
Very quickly, I just want to say, look, MICHAŁ mentioned he helped me. He did. I got stuck on about 150 when I started doing genealogy. I've now got over 800 branches of the family I've never heard of. But for those of you who are here, I sadly began my search after my parents had passed. Everything I find out on my tree, it raises 3 more questions. What I beg you to do, if you've got boxes of photographs at home, go through them. Go through them, and if you know, write the names of the people on the back of the photographs, and if you know when they were taken and where they were taken, do it. Your grandchildren will thank you, because I've got photos. For example, I have 2 uncles, brothers of my father. I don't know if I have photos of them. I don't know. I have a huge box of photos with no names. I may very well have photos of them. I don't know. The other thing, very quickly, Michał talked about finding my grandmother, through which we discovered she was the granddaughter of the Tzaddik of Krumov, and I'm the great-great-grandson. Rebuilt his ochel, that's all very good. But as Michał told me, every tree has good fruit, and every tree has rotten fruit. So as well as being descended from the Tzaddik of Krumov, I'm also descended from a Nazi collaborator in the Warsaw Ghetto, a counter-revolutionary from the 1920s, which meant he was a communist and went to jail, and his little brother was a common thief and also went to jail. You find out truths you were told, you find out half-truths you were told, and sadly you occasionally find out lies you were told. But if you've got older people around you, don't wait until they go to God. Do it now. Do it now. Now.